Hello practice owner, and welcome to another video from me. I'm super excited to have you here learning more about why working with your ideal client and having your team work with their ideal client is so fundamentally important in your practice. If you don't know me, my name is Sian Burton and I work with female private practice owners who want to scale to 7 figures with ease and in a way that aligns with their feminine values. What I'm going to share with you today is what I teach my clients in Success Without Sacrifice, my signature program, and that helps them go from having a team that's 60% full to 80, 90, 100% full with a wait list, but doing so in a way that makes their team happy, fulfilled, and also brings in more revenue to the business. All very important things. I'm sure you'll agree. So let's talk about why ideal clients and your team working with theirs and you working with yours is so important. The first reason that I want to talk about is that when we don't work with our ideal clients, the client end experience suffers. Now, it doesn't suffer for everybody, but it definitely suffers for the people who are not our ideal clients, right? If I get you to stop and think now about 1 or 2 people on your caseload this week that you look at in your diary and think, oh man, I wish they weren't coming in this week. I wish I didn't have to see them. Now I want you to think about 1 or 2 people on your caseload that you love seeing. They're the ones that you will see forever probably. And even that time when you're not really treating anymore, there'll still be the 1 or 2 that you're seeing. Now I want you to think about how you show up for those clients. And yes, I know you do your best to show up for the ones that you're not quite as inspired to work with as best you can. But I also know that you know deep down that they don't get the same experience, right? You don't know as much about the thing that you're treating for them. You're not as excited to go away and do extra professional development on that topic or read the latest evidence because it's not necessarily an area that you enjoy learning about. Or maybe it's just that you don't resonate with them as a person, or they're not as invested in their therapy as you feel they should be. However it is that you don't feel aligned with them, the very fact that for you they are not a dream client means that they don't get the best experience from a therapist. Because somewhere out there in the world, there is a therapist who is as excited and as enthusiastic as you are to see your dream clients about seeing them. And because that person is seeing you right now or seeing your team right now, they're not getting the opportunity to find that person for whom they're an ideal fit. Now, sometimes that ideal fit can just be within your practice. Maybe you've got someone who specializes in headaches and that's their dream client, but they've ended up doing neck and shoulders because that's where admin pop those clients, even though someone else in your practice loves doing that. Or maybe it's that you've got someone seeing articulation kids when really they want to be doing feeding, and you've got someone who wants to be doing articulation that's seeing feeding kids. Just because that's how the schedules worked out when the client started. Things can change and you can change them. And it's important to do so because in making those changes or releasing clients that aren't a right fit for your practice, you give the client the opportunity to find their perfect match therapist. And I think we can all agree that that is really the most important thing in the world, is to ensure that everybody is getting the best therapy possible for them. So that's the first thing, to think about the impact on the client experience. The second thing is that it is incredibly difficult to market somebody who does everything. I have lots of personal experience of this over the last couple of years, between looking for therapists for my daughter for OT and occupational therapy and psychology. And for myself, like since being diagnosed with ADHD, I've been looking for my own psychiatrist, psychologist, etc. I know that I don't want someone who says that they can do ADHD, eating disorders, depression, anxiety, bipolar, personality disorder, marriage issues, family issues. I want someone who does ADHD all day, every day, and knows everything there is to know, and has worked with hundreds of people to help them get the best results. That's what I want in a therapist. I'm not going to pick someone who says they can do 50 different things because I know you can't do 50 things well. That's what I want you to keep in mind when you are trying to market your team for everything. And we can do everything, so let's market everybody for everything in the hope that we collect everybody as clients. It doesn't work. It is infinitely easier to fill a team member who has a specific area that they are interested in, that they are trying to attract clients to. This doesn't need to be their niche forever. It doesn't have to tie them into only seeing these clients for the rest of their lives. But for 6 months at least, if you can pin each of your team members down to one type of client that they would like to see more of, it will massively help you fill their caseloads. It helps the way you market, it helps you be more strategic about the relationships you build, it helps you really zone in on the messaging that they are trying to share to attract their ideal clients in, and it makes it infinitely easier to bring new clients into the practice and for them to stay. The third and final reason why this is so important, having your team working with their ideal clients. When people work with clients that make them happy, that they are fulfilled to work with, that they feel like they're getting great results with because it's something they do all day, every day, and they love it, they are more fulfilled in the work that they do. They are less burnt out. There is less prepping being done for sessions. There's less admin time, but they feel less under the pump because they know that they have consistency to their work, and they know that they know how to do their job well. They feel more fulfilled, they feel more confident. That creates a really great working environment for them with you. That's the first thing, right? That leads to improved morale, better loyalty from staff. They stay longer term because they're really loving the work that they're doing with you, and they're seeing the impact of that work on their clients. But the second part is that because you are creating this environment where they get to work with people they love, most people know that that isn't what it's like out in other places. They know that if somebody offers them $10 an hour more, their working environment is going to suffer significantly more than likely just for a little bit of extra money. And it protects you from staff being poached for $5,000 or $10,000 extra a year down the road. Because most people won't give up fulfillment for a little bit of extra money. And if they will, then they're not a team member you need to be holding on to anyway. But the most exciting part about doing this is that not only do your current team stay, but you will be able to use this as a recruitment tool. Again, this isn't what happens in most practices. Most practices, the admins just drop in clients wherever it's convenient for the client. I'd like a 4 p.m. on Tuesday, please. Great. Well, there is Michelle. You can see Michelle. Even if Michelle is not the best therapist and Marcia is, they'll put them in with Michelle just because it's the time they ask for, right? So people know elsewhere they don't get to work with their ideal clients. They don't get to have a fulfilling job generally, not in the way that you're going to create. That becomes a huge recruitment tool to share with people in interviews. This is how we do things here. This is what we create with you. This is what we support you to build so that you love working here and you love the clients you see and you feel really fulfilled and satisfied in your work. If someone's looking at 2 different roles and you tell them that, it gives you this leading edge that is huge. You flow that through your recruitment ads, people will start to notice and be attracted to your practice over and above others. So it's threefold, the reasons for making sure your team are working with their ideal clients. Client experience being the first, team satisfaction being the second, and empowered recruitment being the third. It's fundamental to the practice, it's fundamental to client retention, it's fundamental to staff retention and client attraction. Those 3 things spell profitability, not exactly, but when you get those things right, when you've got a great team and you're attracting great clients and they stay, that's how you get really profitable. That's how your team go from the 60-70% they're probably sitting at now to 80-90-100% full of the hours that you believe they're able to work. I'm not talking about like ram-packed every hour, but if you think that they should be utilizing 30 clinical hours a week, getting them to 30 clinical hours a week and staying there hinges on this. So if this is something you would like to understand a bit more about, you've got comments, you've got thoughts, pop them in the chat below. I would love to hear whether this resonates for you, if it's something you do. Share your thoughts and feelings on it, and I will look forward to catching up with you again soon.